Welcome to Pennsylvania in Focus. I'm Eliana Kernodle. In the battleground of Bucks County on Wednesday, Republican Senate candidate Dave McCormick focused on the rising cost of living. Joining me with more on this story is the Center Square's Pennsylvania editor, Kristen Smith. Kristen, what sort of picture did McCormick paint on this campaign stop, and who joined him?
McCormick chose the Bensalem farmers market in Deli for this particular stop, where there was a few dozen supporters and some of the business owners that were in this farmers market to discuss what he considered the extreme liberal policies of both Vice President Kamala Harris and then Senator Bob Casey, who is the Democratic incumbent that he's trying to unseat. He is tying their policies together, saying reckless spending has really pushed inflation through the roof. And so his ideas here are to kind of rein that in and to take back the economy and rein in inflation and spending so that Americans can afford groceries again, can afford gas, can not have to struggle and spend so much of their money just buying necessities, not going deeper into debt to afford their groceries, things that Americans didn't have to do 4 years ago under President Trump. So that's been a central theme of his campaign. You know, there was a poll from Muhlenberg and the Morning Call that was released earlier this week. Casey was up 46 to 42% with a 6% margin of error. So, you know, McCormick's right in there as far as the race goes. But that poll found that voters see the economy and inflation as the most important issue by a wide margin. 35% of voters polled. The next closest issues were abortion at 13% and immigration at 11%. So why that's interesting is because McCormick, his entire platform really ties the issues of inflation and the economy to immigration. He thinks immigration is a national security threat, but also that it is contributing to some of the economic issues that we face. There's a drain on the safety net because of the influx of undocumented migrants coming into this country and using those services, whereas abortion is a top issue for Democratic candidates up and down the ballot. Casey is generally one of them, although he has a complicated history with that. His father was very infamously or notoriously known for being a pro-life Democrat. Casey is not so, although, like I said, he's not as flagrantly pro-choice as a lot of the other Democrats in Congress. So this is, again, harkens back to sort of the broader issues of the campaign and what matters most to Pennsylvanians. Is it the economy, which this poll and many others would suggest, but reproductive rights are something that matters a lot to a very significant portion of voters. You've got women, you've got, younger people. It's a cross-electorate appeal as far as preserving abortion access in Pennsylvania and nationally.
And this has been something of a negative campaign on both sides. How have the political ads impacted both candidates?
It would appear that, according to polling, that it's not helped at all. In fact, it's hurt both candidates. Running negative campaigns is not new to elections. It seems particularly prevalent this year. If you look at the top of the ballot with Trump and Harris, that's definitely happening. Although, again, that's been happening the last several election cycles. It's not beyond the norm. But in Pennsylvania, this one is definitely contentious. It's not as backbiting as some of the others that we've seen. Particularly our state treasurer's race can get pretty nasty at times. But according to polling, voters, they do not respond well to these negative campaign ads. It's definitely not something that is helping their campaigns. Casey's favorability rating has actually dropped from 39% to 33% between April and September. An unfavorable rating, which was rated separately, went from 33 to 38%. So you can see 4 to 5% swing in both directions there. McCormick's favorability rating is actually held steady at 28%, so significantly lower, but his unfavorability rating jumped from 26 to 38%. So that's a really big jump for him. So those poll numbers certainly suggest that these negative campaign ads may be a waste of money for moving the needle on voters.
Well, Kristen, thank you for your insights on this story. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.